At some point in your life, you're going to need a lawyer. Lawyer Talk, where we talk to Atlanta's top lawyers about questions important to you. Here's Adam Goldfein.
Welcome to Lawyer Talk. I'm Adam Goldfein. Thank you so much for joining me here on CW 69. We are speaking with Todd Henningsen, who is one of Atlanta's top personal injury attorneys. Todd, thank you so much for coming back and joining us here on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's really a pleasure to sit down with you because so many people out there are injured, whether it be in car wrecks, bicycles, guns, slip and fall, dog bite, other.
Yes, a variety of ways in which people can be injured.
And I don't think people realize that if they're injured, they may actually be entitled to compensation.
Right, absolutely.
Right? And so what does it take as just kind of a big picture general rule for someone to be entitled to be compensated after an injury?
Well, we have to establish that the other party is at fault. And typically when we're talking about injury claims, we're talking about negligence.
All right.
And when we look at negligence, there is a duty that everybody has. If you're driving a car, you have a duty to drive that car safely.
All right.
And then if you breach that duty, and it has some consequences or damages, what we talk about, injuries to other people, that's negligence. Duty, breach of duty, causation, and damages.
So let's, if we can, let's kind of dumb this down for everybody at home in case you've been involved in an accident. And would the most common personal injury case be a motor vehicle accident?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so let's take a motor vehicle accident, okay?
Right.
And help everybody at home learn how you can protect yourself. Now, there are going to be a few things that I want to talk to you about, what people should do before an accident, maybe immediately after,
right,
and then how do they follow up and get recovery, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, because there are going to be ways that you may not realize at home, but if you're not doing certain things, you are actually at risk. You're at risk and the event has not yet occurred. And we're going to be talking about things that have to do with what types of insurance you should have, what types of coverage you should have, and how you can protect yourself and your family. I think of all the folks out there, say with kids, right? Yeah. So you get kids, when you have kids, you know, you buy a little more life insurance,
right,
you're a little more careful around the house. But I wonder if people look at their homeowner policies and their auto policies and the types of protections they have. I'd like, if you can, to kind of explain big picture policy stuff for all of us when we can.
Absolutely.
And then explain what people are entitled to should they get involved in an auto accident, okay?
And I can tell you, Adam, a lot of people just don't look at their auto policy until after something has happened.
Which is absolutely the wrong time for you to look at it, and it's a smart point, because we want to make sure that you're informed and you have all the information you need. Now here's the best part. I'm sitting with one of Atlanta's top personal injury attorneys. We're going to give you the inside information you need, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Lawyer Talk on CW 69. Stay with us. We'll be back.
There are over 2,400 Georgians involved in car wrecks every day. Over 100,000 Georgians are injured on the job each year. Who's going to protect your interests when an accident happens? Not the insurance company. At Henningsen Injury Attorneys, we're here to help. You didn't choose to be injured, but you do have a choice in who fights for you. You deserve an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success. If you have questions or want to understand the value of your case or simply need a second legal opinion, call us right now.
Adam Goldfein's Auto Tips, brought to you by Conyers Nissan.
It's Adam Goldfein with your Autoscope tip. Before you go car shopping, make sure you go to fueleconomy.gov and you download the 2012 Fuel Economy Guide. In that guide, you can see what every vehicle gets in fuel economy, and you can make sure you're making a smart purchase. Remember, most consumers spend between $2,000 and $3,000 a year on fuel, so you've got to consider it. Welcome back to Lawyer Talk. I'm Adam Goldfein. I'm speaking with Todd Henningsen, who's one of Atlanta's top personal injury attorneys. Todd, when we're talking motor vehicle accident, is this something that only certain people should worry about in certain parts of town? What would you say?
Well, you know, we were talking about this, Adam, and Atlanta ranks 4th in the nation in terms of crashes with injuries. There's only, 3 other cities that are more dangerous than Atlanta to drive in.
In the whole country?
In the whole country. 6th in the nation in traffic-related fatalities.
Give me a sense, big picture sense, in Atlanta, about how many people die every year in a car crash?
About 500.
And how many people are injured?
About 62,000
A year.
a year. We were doing the math on that.
So how many is that a day? What are we looking at?
200
200 injuries a day.
a day.
And,
Just in Atlanta, not Georgia, right?
And more than a person a day is killed.
Yes.
I mean, so you think about
Yes.
those thoughts. Now, there was somebody who was sitting down at breakfast. They're eating their Frosted Flakes. They're not thinking that they're actually going to have some sort of serious event happen, and you need to be prepared. And being prepared is one of the first steps in protecting yourself. And when folks are looking at their motor vehicle insurance policies, what should they be looking for?
Well, the first thing that you need to look for is whether or not you have liability coverage, which is mandatory. It is required in the state of Georgia that you have a $25,000 liability policy. This protects you if you injure somebody else.
Okay, so if you run into me,
Correct.
I then can sue you or file a claim against you, and your policy will protect you from my claim.
Correct.
Okay, so it's a shield.
It's a shield.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it only requires $25,000. That is a small amount in
Right.
these claims, especially with medical bills, because you would be making a claim with your medical bills for your injury. Your medical bills could easily exceed $25,000.
So what do you do if you don't think it's enough? You just increase the amount?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You need to make sure that you have more liability coverage to protect you from somebody making a claim against you and protecting your assets and your family, the future.
Now, does my liability coverage protect me in the event the person who strikes me has no coverage?
No.
What do I do in that case?
See, that's called uninsured motorist coverage.
Okay.
And what you want to do is you make sure that you have uninsured motorist coverage that is ample to cover anything that could potentially happen to you.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, let's say that you hit me and you don't have any insurance whatsoever.
All right.
How would if I only had liability coverage?
You get nothing.
Right, unless you have assets, but typically if you don't have insurance,
Right, I have no assets.
you have no assets, especially in these trying economic times where people, are really having a difficult time. So you need to have uninsured motorist coverage, which will protect you in the event that somebody injures you and does not have enough coverage or has no coverage whatsoever.
Okay, and then MedPay is something I hear people talk about. What is that?
MedPay is like health insurance if you're injured in the car.
Okay.
And it operates regardless of who is at fault. So let's
Really?
give the example again, right, that you're driving down the road and it happens to be your fault. You were texting, which you shouldn't be doing, or looking at your cell phone or whatever, and you ran off the road and you injured yourself, your airbags deployed. You can go and use that policy to pay for your medical bills.
Even though I don't have health insurance?
Correct.
Even though I was at fault?
Right, absolutely. Regardless of fault.
What about others that are in my car? Does it cover them as well?
It sure does.
Okay, so those are three very fast examples of ways people can protect themselves, right? And if you haven't done it, you really need to make sure that you go ahead and do it. Now, you have really I would say more exhaustive kind of coverage of this on your website.
I do.
Right? So if people want to go there and you want to get more information, I would definitely recommend you go to Todd's website so you can protect yourself before, God forbid, an accident occurs. And I'll make a bet. I'll make a bet at home that you've changed the 9-volt battery in your smoke detector this year, but I'll also make a bet you have not checked your coverages on your auto liability policies. I mean, is that a fair?
So many people come
They just don't do it.
And they hand me the declarations page, which
Right.
is what shows what your coverage is. And I say, well, you didn't. I have full coverage is what I hear. Okay, well, that there is no such thing as full coverage.
So you would say that's one of the first mistakes people are making?
Yes.
Not having sufficient insurance?
Yes, because they haven't looked at the policy, and then they come in and they've had this catastrophic event happening to them, and we're trying to find coverage everywhere. And I say, well, you had an option to purchase uninsured motorist coverage. Did you purchase it? I don't know.
So let's talk about this for a minute, okay? Because when folks, God forbid, they get into a car accident, they're going to come to you, and they're going to come to you saying, this is how I'm hurt, or this is, my situation. And often they're going to want to say, well, Mr. Henningsen, how much am I getting?
Right.
How is this going to play out? Okay, so what I'd like you to do is let's play out a scenario where you have a car crash.
Right.
What is a person entitled to, God forbid they're involved in a car crash?
Right. They're entitled to what we call damages, right?
Right.
Compensatory damages in a typical auto accident. And compensatory damages are to compensate you for the injuries that you have been through. Now, those injuries have medical bills associated with them.
All right, so medical bills would be one.
Correct. Medical
Okay.
bills.
We're going to have possibly salaries and other things.
Lost wages.
So, okay, do me a favor. Stay where you are. When we come back on Lawyer Talk, we're going to cover all the damages you're entitled to. Don't go anywhere. You're watching CW69.
There are over 2,400 Georgians involved in car wrecks every day. Over 100,000 Georgians are injured on the job each year. Who's going to protect your interests when an accident happens? Not the insurance company. At Henningsen Injury Attorneys, we're here to help. You didn't choose to be injured, but you do have a choice in who fights for you. You deserve an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success. If you have questions or want to understand the value of your case, or simply need a second legal opinion, call us right now.
Adam Gold finds auto tips. Brought to you by Conyers Nissan.
It's Adam Goldfein with your Autoscoop tip. Before you go car shopping, make sure you go to fueleconomy.gov and you download the 2012 Fuel Economy Guide. In that guide, you can see what every vehicle gets in fuel economy, and you can make sure you're making a smart purchase. Remember, most consumers spend between $2,000 and $3,000 a year on fuel, so you've got to consider it. Welcome to Lawyer Talk. I'm Adam Goldfein. I'm with Todd Henningsen, who's one of Atlanta's top personal injury attorneys. What I am trying to do here today is make sure that you get informed of what rights you have, how you can protect yourself, and how you can honestly maximize your recovery to receive what you are entitled to. So often individuals in an accident actually receive less than they could have received, but they were not informed of the information that they needed. They went into a gunfight with a butter knife. They were completely unprepared for the event that was about to forsake them. And when we started talking before, basically we were putting a bulletproof vest on people.
Right.
Right? We're
Absolutely.
saying, have some insurance.
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of the starting point. But the bullets are flying.
Yeah.
I get hurt, and I come wounded into your office, and I say, Mr. Henningsen, I've heard all about you. Your reputation, why are you laughing? Listen, I got Georgia's top verdicts here. You're laughing, your name's in it.
Right.
You have the largest verdict in 2010 for any slip and fall.
Right.
Your name.
Yes.
On the list.
Yes.
You like that? I do my research.
I know you do.
Okay.
I
The
know
reason
you do.
you're sitting here is that when you represent someone, their rights are protected.
Yes.
And they get what they're entitled to.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask you some tough questions. We're going to go back to what happens in the car accident, but I want to ask you something, okay?
Okay.
Somebody goes about it themselves. They think it's like installing a toilet.
Right.
They're going to get as much money as if they hire a professional.
That is the biggest misconception that we have out there, is that you're going to the insurance company for information about what they're going to pay you. A lot of people that are hurt,
they're the adverse party.
they are. Yes, that's like letting the fox guard the hen house.
So if I go to the fox with the key, that's a problem.
Yes. Yes, you're going to the insurance company and say, well, what am I really entitled to here? And the insurance company is, what are they going to say? They're not lawyers, first of all. They don't have your best interest at heart. And they'll tell you, well, if you go get a lawyer, that lawyer is going to take a percentage. But the assumption there is that the lawyer, there's a finite amount that you're going to get.
Okay, so you're basically saying that the first big mistake that people make is they try to do it themselves.
Yes.
The second mistake you've told me is that they communicate with the insurance carrier, either negotiate or give statements when they shouldn't.
No recorded statements.
At all, period.
Please do not give a recorded
Never
statement.
helps your case.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so if they shouldn't talk to their insurance carrier, who should they talk to?
Me.
They should talk to you.
Right. Give me a call. It's a free consultation.
No cost.
No cost whatsoever.
You hit on the fee, okay? And let's play devil's advocate. Look,
Okay.
if I get injured and my arm's broken,
Right.
and I'm going to get $100,000 because this is a very important arm.
Right.
I need this arm.
Right.
Okay, for lots of things. Okay.
You're assuming you're going to get 100. You're assuming that the insurance company is going to give you the
And
100,000.
I guess that's the issue, right?
You're assuming, right?
You might be able to get me 200 or 300,
Right.
or 400,000.
Right. Whatever the claim is worth. I mean, we have the ability to look at the jury verdicts, the research, what are settlements going for, and plus we know what you're entitled to. Know what you're entitled to claim. You may not know what you're entitled to claim.
Give me some examples, though. And this is what I was trying to get at before, where people may not know all the things that they can stack on in making a claim.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that if an individual negotiates a claim and settles with the carrier, are they done, or do they get a second bite of the apple? What's the story?
I think that a lot of people believe that if you can negotiate and they'll pay your medical bills as you go, or they will create some, that if you get later on develop problems down the line, that they're still going to pay. Once you sign on that dotted line, it's over and done with forever.
So it's one and done.
Right. A release, a full and final release. If you read their releases, those releases cover
everything.
Everything. I mean, you know.
So basically, you can't negotiate and then come back to you and say, now let's renegotiate again.
Right. Correct.
Okay, so the deal is done. It's done.
So you want to make sure that you know the full extent of your injuries. You want to have somebody at your side protecting your rights, making sure you're getting the treatment that you need, making sure that you're in a proper position to benefit you for the rest of your life if you have those types of injuries.
Okay, so when you started talking about medical expenses in the beginning and you said,
Right.
okay, well, you're injured, you're hurt, you've just thrown in another element. It's my future medical expenses as well.
Right.
So you're going to be looking at that.
Right.
So not just what my medical bills were to date.
Right. Medical bills, lost wages that
Okay.
are caused by you being unable to work.
So not just the one because I was out for a week, it could be future lost wages as well?
Absolutely. Right.
Wow. I didn't realize I can get stuff that hasn't happened yet.
Well, and when we can't plan for the future. What if you've had to have a neck fusion or a back fusion and a doctor says, look, it is strongly likely in this scenario that in 10 years down the road, you're going to have to undergo this procedure again. That's admissible. That's admissible.
Now, what about like my pain? Because it hurt.
Yes.
So I get money for that?
Absolutely.
I get money for my pain.
Yes.
My lost wages, my medical bills, my pain.
Pain, suffering, inconvenience, humiliation if you have scarring. I mean,
really?
Anything. Yes, all of those things.
What about if they were such a bad person I want to punish them?
There are certain cases, and this is where it's really critical. If you've been injured by a drunk driver, racing we've talked about before, a situation where there are egregious circumstances, you want to make sure that you are getting compensated for punitive damages.
Now stay with me, because when we come back, this is where the big money gets even bigger. You're watching Lawyer Talk. Don't go away.
There are over 2,400 Georgians involved in car wrecks every day. Over 100,000 Georgians are injured on the job each year. Who's going to protect your interests when an accident happens? Not the insurance company. At Henningsen Injury Attorneys, we're here to help. You didn't choose to be injured, but you do have a choice in who fights for you. You deserve an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success. If you have questions or want to understand the value of your case, or simply need a second legal opinion, call us right now.
Adam Gold finds Auto Tips, brought to you by Conyers Nissan.
It's Adam Goldfein with your Autoscoop tip. Before you go car shopping, make sure you go to fueleconomy.gov and you download the 2012 Fuel Economy Guide. In that guide, you can see what every vehicle gets in fuel economy, and you can make sure you're making a smart purchase. Remember, most consumers spend between $2,000 and $3,000 a year on fuel, so you've got to consider it. Welcome back to Lawyer Talk. I'm Adam Goldfein, speaking with Todd Henningsen, one of Atlanta's top personal injury attorneys. Let me just tell you, if you've been injured and you haven't spoken to Todd, you may be receiving less money than you are entitled to. I want you to call the number on the screen right now and set up a free consultation with Todd. You'll talk to the viewers.
Absolutely.
One-on-one.
Yeah, and if you're calling up, I'm the one you're talking to. I'm calling you back, and we're going to talk about what's going on.
Will you go out to their home, or if they're incapacitated, to the hospital, wherever they need you to go to?
We will meet you anywhere throughout the state of Georgia.
So if someone wants to come into your office, they could do that as well?
Absolutely. Come in, sit down, talk. We'll come meet you. We can talk over the telephone. However, best.
What does that cost to have that initial consultation?
Zero. Nothing.
What if I'm represented by another attorney? Can I call you for some advice?
Sure. Sure.
What if I just want to say, hey, I've been involved in a slow, low-end kind of crash, and I'm not sure if I have a claim. Can I call?
Absolutely. Give me a call. We'll determine whether or not you have a claim. I'll give you my honest, wholehearted opinion as to exactly what's going on.
So they can tell you virtually anything.
And they do, yes. I mean, the last time I was on the show, we had a lot of success just really helping people. I mean, some people, just needed some advice, and I was willing to, here's the advice I would give in this situation without me representing them or doing anything like that.
Right. So really, the key is getting you guys the information that you need. Now, Todd was explaining that you have coverage for medical bills, lost wages, pain and suffering, and then you started hitting on punitive damages.
Right.
And why is that so important and so interesting for people to understand that exists?
Well, punitive damages is to punish the behavior of the offending party.
Okay.
So you should not be drinking and driving unless you've lived under a rock for the past 100 years. You shouldn't drink and drive.
Right.
So we want to punish that behavior, and that money goes to the claim to punish it, and goes to you if you've been injured as well.
Okay. And now, let's say there's a multi-million-dollar settlement or a verdict. Sometimes insurance carriers also want to then introduce other wrinkles like structured payments or payments over time. There are times that they'll come up with a lot of sophisticated ways. If you don't have an attorney, how are you going to know whether or not the deal you got is good or the deal you got is bad?
Absolutely. Well, from my perspective, I would bring in my own independent analyst, a financial analyst, to make sure that we're getting the right deal.
Right, so that you're maximizing the recovery.
Right, because I'm not going to take the investor for the insurance company's word on it. I would have my own people come and sit down.
Okay.
We go over the options.
So the largest mistakes people are making, the first one you said is not having enough coverage.
Right.
Second one was speaking with the insurance carrier before they speak to the lawyer.
Right, and thinking that they can do it on their own.
And I was going to say, and then the third is thinking it's a do-it-yourself project.
It is not. If you have Medicare, Medicaid, health insurance, that brings in a whole nother set of issues aside from the personal injury case that people just are not aware of.
Well, give us an example. Somebody gets injured, they have Medicaid. Why does the fact that they have Medicaid have any bearing whatsoever on the fact that they got in a car wreck?
Okay.
How are you connecting the two there? I don't see it.
Because Medicaid has a right to be paid back for the bills that they paid on your behalf. It's just like some private health insurers may or may not, and that is a very tricky issue that you really need a lawyer to look at. Okay.
So you're telling me that if I have Medicaid and I have damages that come to me, Medicaid may have their hand out saying some of that money is ours.
Here's what happens. You settle with the insurance company, they give you a check, and you settle for $2,000, $5,000, whatever it is. Medicaid comes knocking on the door. You didn't pay us. Where's our money?
So how do you play in that? What are you going to do for me that I can't do for myself?
I'm going to make sure that, number one, that Medicaid is got the right billing information. Number two, everything's negotiable.
Everything.
Everything.
So so really you're doing two things. The way I see this is you're getting enough money, and then we're keeping the bad guys away.
Yes.
We're making sure that you're protecting, I guess, the corpus or the pie that you've achieved in getting.
Let me give you a quick example.
Yeah.
I had a client come to me, and she had been offered $1,000 by the insurance company, and she had said to me, I trust them. I've kind of worked tangentially in the insurance business, and I thought they were going to do right by me. And I said, well, I don't know if the $1,000 is a good offer or not because I don't know what your medical bills were. And she didn't know what her medical bills were because they had been paid by a private health insurer.
Okay.
So we came into the office, or we spoke over the phone, and I said, let me get some more information and find out what's going on. Well, I looked at it, and it was not a fair offer at all. We just recently settled that for $23,000.
Off their initial offer of $1,000.
Correct.
So 23 times as much.
Right. And they were going to pay her that $1,000, and there is a creditor knocking on the door saying that they are owed $6,500. So she would have gotten $1,000
and owed $6,000.
Ostensibly, they would have just taken the whole $1,000 is what would have happened.
And she would have been left with nothing, basically.
Yes.
But instead now you got her more money, and then you can negotiate with the creditor.
And their claim, in my opinion, at this point is not valid. So we're fighting that out.
See, the amazing thing is you talk about protecting yourself. If you've had an accident, you aren't protecting yourself as someone who knows the law, has a proven track record of results, and can stand there and protect your interest. And because this is the point that I think that you're making, which is the point that's worth repeating, is that the carrier does not have your interests at heart.
No.
Okay? They will not advocate on your behalf. They will not negotiate on your behalf.
No.
They're trying to resolve the claim or adjust it, and that's why they're called adjusters. They're trying to adjust your claim for a settlement in full satisfaction, and we want to make sure that basically when they do that, that the dollars are fair.
Right. Fair,
right?
that's all. Any of my clients just want it fair and reasonable and do not want to be taken advantage of.
Simple.
It's very simple.
So, man, I tell you, I think about all the people that have been involved in wrecks. When you talk about 62,000 a year. Now, wrecks come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes they're small, right? They could be a one-vehicle accident.
Right.
You could be hitting a pole or something of that nature. Or it could be a situation where multiple vehicles can be involved, or semis or rigs, whatever your situation is. Get the advice that you're entitled to. Call the number on the screen. Take Todd up on his offer for a personal consultation. I'm encouraging you to do it. You're talking about one of Atlanta's top personal injury attorneys here to help you.
Hi everyone, I am Shannon Wiseman, inviting you to join me on the A-List. It's the only show that goes all across Atlanta. It's got the hottest places to be, coolest things that you need to see. So join me each week on the A-List on CW69.
There are over 2,400 Georgians involved in car wrecks every day. Over 100,000 Georgians are injured on the job each year. Who's going to protect your interests when an accident happens? Not the insurance company. At Henningsen Injury Attorneys, we're here to help. You didn't choose to be injured, but you do have a choice in who fights for you. You deserve an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success. If you have questions or want to understand the value of your case or simply need a second legal opinion, call us right now.
Welcome back to Lawyer Talk. I'm Adam Goldfein. If you want to see the list of the top verdicts in Georgia and you said, you know what, I got injured and I want one of the attorneys that wins the most money representing me, then you would want Todd Henningsen representing you. Todd, 3 reasons why somebody should pick up the phone right now and ask for your help.
Well, number one, you don't want to be taken advantage of. And number 2, you want to make sure that you are protecting the rights of yourself and the rights of your family. And number 3, Adam, I think you need to get the money that you are entitled to.
I think that really when you sum it up and you look at the total picture, there are so many facets to a personal injury claim. This is not a do-it-yourself project. You need the help of a professional. You need somebody with a track record of success that can actually represent your rights and guarantee that you are getting what you need. Now, in the same vein, you need information. And the only way to get the information that you need is to pick up the phone and have a conversation. Now, Todd is willing to help you and provide you information free of charge. Should you elect to hire him, you don't have to pay anything to you. If I hire you, what do I pay? Nothing.
Nothing up front.
It comes out of the winnings if we win.
Right, it's a contingency fee, because think about it, a contingency fee is for people who may not be able to pay their medical bills, may not be out of work, missing time, so this is contingent upon the outcome.
So real fast, if we lose, what do you get paid?
0.
So you're in it with me to win it.
Right, yeah.
So you're talking about somebody who's got your interests at heart. You're talking about a winner who's willing to fight on your behalf. Don't make the mistake. Pick up the phone and call the number on the screen if you've been injured and get the protection that you deserve. Thanks for watching.